Can you see if it's back up? And normally it's not?
I logged off.
Oh. Oh, you know what? I will. I have my own computer right here.
Yeah, I'll look at my phone.
Well, I have my own computer and a different YouTube account, so I could do this myself. I just,
Yeah, you're live. It's working fine.
Okay.
It's working fine.
Okay. Well, hopefully people will log back on because nobody's there right now. So, but anyways, I was talking about hypomania. That must just be you. Hopefully, people discover that I'm back online again after having connectivity issues. Such a pain in the butt. Hi! I'm gonna wait a couple of minutes because I was connected and a few of us were talking about hypomania and then I lost connection. So my husband isn't doing whatever the hell he was doing online anymore. So, God, I have too much blood on. So hopefully I have a better connection this time. And I appreciate Daniel. Daniel was modding for me, so I really appreciate that. That's so cool. Thank you so much. So yeah, that's what I was talking about. I was talking about the trauma from the episodes and how I have PTSD from it, and how that affects the whole hypomania conversation with my husband, because, I guess I don't need to do this anymore because I know you guys are back. See, I'm behind. Like, it's very hard for me to focus, things like that. I think a majority of my life, I always thought that like mania was hypomania, where mania is actually mania and hypomania is like right before mania. But yeah, I have trauma. So when Jeff gets upset about me starting to act hypomanic, then I get upset and feel guilty, and all my feelings of trauma are revisited because of him. Because I know how much I hurt him and how painful it was to him. And so when he starts saying, God, what he does is he'll say, it's just chaos around here. It's so much chaos. And he'll say things like, you need to take better care of yourself. And that was when I got really upset today, because he does that. He says, you need to take better care of yourself. You need to go to bed earlier. You need to have a schedule. You need to not drink coffee. And I love coffee. And I know I shouldn't drink coffee, but I also don't want to be blamed for my mental illness. So then I feel guilty and I feel ashamed. And then I have PTSD because all of the experiences that I had going back to when I was sick are there, and all of the pain that I caused Jeff is right back in my face, and his current pain and me witnessing his PTSD from dealing with my bipolar is causing me pain. So I'm getting it from every single direction. And I think that this happens with everyone with bipolar disorder. I think it's unavoidable. But I got really upset and I yelled at him so much that I had to shut the windows because I basically screamed. It's like scream, not yell. I yelled at him. And then the dog, and then Rocco brought me back, centered me. But I said, Jess does everything right. Some of you guys follow her channel, Jess at R Bipolar. She does everything right, and she still experiences hypomania. So sometimes it's like, well, if I am going to experience this anyway, why can't I have my coffee? But he's absolutely right. So yeah, so that sucks. That's what's been going on. Hi, Mooney Mumbanj. And I know I didn't say that right, but yeah. Hi guys. I was on a minute ago and I don't know, I lost connection, so I don't know if Daniel is going to come back and mod. I'm sure he'll tell me once he gets there if he does. But I was just discussing hypomania and bipolar disorder. Hi Kev, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in a long time, right? You've been following the channel for a while. I think I'm going to ask people in my next video, like, how long have you been following the channel? Because I think that I think I would get sick of me after a while, and I can't imagine that there's somebody that's been following for 6 years. That's a long time. But yeah, so I also just released a new video and a song. So that's what I've been working on, and that has been a big reason as to why I experienced hypomania, because I get so excited about finishing a song, and I get so involved in like the mixing and the mastering and the editing, and it's so tedious and so time consuming that I get so focused on it that I don't sleep as much. And for a long time, I completely moved away from music. For a long time, I didn't want to play piano. I didn't want to sing, because I was terrified that the one thing that I loved so much made me so happy and made me feel so much joy that it always sent me into mania and always dismantled my entire life, which is unfair. Hi, Tearing. You got it, no problem. I need some relationship advice. Shoot, Terry, we're here. No, anonymous. Appreciate your channel. Thank you, Tyrion. I appreciate you watching. Yeah, let me know what's going on with your relationship advice. Are you the bipolar person or the not bipolar person? I'm not the best at giving advice, and I try not to give advice, but I can definitely relate and give you situations as to what I did do or what I would do in certain situations. Breaking news, guys. Godzilla just attacked Japan. 2 minutes. That's awesome. Sounds like fun. Yes, I am. My husband's in the background. We were just talking about that. But yeah, let me get back to the topic at hand so I don't start talking about a bunch of random stuff. I hope Daniel comes back. I hate it when that happens, when it disconnects. Unity is great. So yeah, so bipolar disorder affects my creativity, and that makes me feel bad. It always has affected my creativity. I did not want to... Like, I knew that before I was diagnosed, and after I was diagnosed, I thought, hey, it doesn't matter. I'm on medication. It doesn't matter. But the problem is that I still experience symptoms even though I'm on medication, and I don't always do everything right. I do drink coffee. I do stay up late at night sometimes. I do skip yoga. But I have been trying to meditate every day. So I've been meditating for about a week, and it's made a significant difference in being able to observe my thoughts and my thought process, and being able to re-regulate myself when I do have those moments of explosion and feeling like I'm gonna explode. So it really helps. Smoke a little weed. This always comes up on every single live. I do not recommend using any kind of substance when you have bipolar disorder, even coffee, which I do. But I do it, so I can't really like speak on that. There are a lot of people who use marijuana for medicinal purposes and for PTSD, and I know I have in the past, and it's not something that I would recommend, particularly if you're someone that has never ever tried it. If you're someone that tried it when you were a kid, I don't think it really matters, but in terms of like really affecting you. But the stuff that we sell nowadays that's legal is very dangerous. It's way stronger than the stuff I used to buy from my older friend's brother. It's not the same. And so annoying. Okay. So yeah, I lost Daniel. That's such a bummer. He might have been doing something. But whatever, I'm here. Anyways, the next live, I'm going to be doing more lives, more random lives. I won't do them when we're in the process of downloading things from the internet. in the future so that I don't get dropped like that. I'm hoping some of you guys come back because I'm getting some spam. I'm getting a bunch of spam other than turning. And who needed relationship advice? Somebody said they needed relationship advice. And how long have you been? Oh gosh. So Funk Congress asked, how long have I been bipolar? So bipolar disorder typically shows up in the late teens, early 20s. I had symptoms of bipolar disorder my entire life. And I did not know that they were symptoms at the time, but looking back, I can look at my childhood and be like, that was bipolar. Like, yeah, as long as I can remember. But I wasn't diagnosed until I was 40, but I lived my entire life not on medication prior to that. And so I experienced tons of trauma and just horrible things. Every time things would go right in my life, a bipolar disorder would come in and tear it all down. I would stop paying my bills, stop going to work, stop doing all kinds of crazy ass things. Come on, Rocco. Come on, baby. Hey, rescued, you made it. Whoops. I didn't even, oh, that's cool. I guess there's a retouch. Sweet, I look way better now. I don't even need the ring light. I'm so glad you made it. The problem with trauma is that it's plentiful and free. I hate it. Sorry, I have a girlfriend. What sort of symptoms as a child? Okay, so the extreme irritability, that was the symptom that I had as a, like, I can look back at times that I blew up on my siblings and be like, that was anger. That was bipolar anger. I can look back at a time when I was hypomanic and very, very young. I think I was probably around 12, and my best friend had come over, and I decided, like, hey, let's go streaking, and was like running naked around my house in the middle of the night. We had decided that, I guess it was my brilliant idea that we would sleep outside on lawn chairs, because I was a kid, you know, and so like camping on lawn chairs or whatever. So I have bipolar 1, schizophrenia, and a handful of other disorders similar. Yay! Kev, did you see my new song? I just released a new song at 12. I'm gonna, or I'll play it in the background if you guys haven't heard it yet. I'm gonna play it right now so you can hear it. But I'm so excited. But that was the issue. That was what we were talking about. We were talking about how bipolar disorder completely is in every single part of my life, every aspect of my life. And even when and I can live a perfectly normal life, and I can live, you know, I don't want to say perfectly normal, but I can be happy just like everyone else. I just have to figure out how to live with this illness. What sort of, yeah, so hopefully that answers the question. That's pretty much, I just remember playing video games with my brothers, and I remember getting so angry at them, and it wasn't like, and one time I punched my brother in the stomach, and it was horrible, horrible. It was like the worst feeling I ever had. And I had, you know, it was a very stressful situation. I remember my parents had just split up, and we went to this, he dropped us off to go shopping to get our mom a Mother's Day gift. And my brothers wanted to go to the baseball card shop. And I was like, I had so much pressure on me because I was older. And I was like, we have to get this thing. And I punched my brother in the stomach. And that is the biggest thing I have guilt about to this day. Like, I feel so bad about that. But he feels bad. If you talk to him, he would tell you he feels bad about me being the reason he stepped on a bee. Because, hold on, you guys, I'm just going to plug this in so there's more light in here. When we were little, he never listened to me. If you were older, back in the generation that I was, Gen X, if you were the oldest, you were taking care of your younger siblings. So one time we were outside when we were younger, and he will never let me live this down. And he was not listening to me. He was riding his bike around, and he's barefoot, and I can see a bee stinger up on the ground. And I just kept saying, somebody better put their shoes on, because I had told him like 10,000 times, put on your shoes, and he ignored me. And I didn't tell him there was a bee. And of course he stepped on it. Turns out he was allergic and had to go to the hospital and get like 20 shots. So he will never let me live that down. And I do feel horrible about that. But yeah, as a child, I definitely have bipolar disorder symptoms as a child. But I didn't know there were symptoms. And a lot of people with bipolar disorder will tell you that when they got diagnosed, they had all of these things that they had done and all of these ideas of who they were, and then they realize, holy shit, that's not who I am. A lot of that was symptoms. So that's part of the relief factor of bipolar disorder. I got my laundry done. Good. Laundry's good. I'm following along. Okay. Except for the bee. Oh my goodness. Wasn't riding a bike. My brother has bipolar 1 and is so abusive to the family when manic. We all have PTSD, but he never wants to talk about it. So irritated. It said the
Maybe you should just have an Ethernet cord going to your computer.
that's what they suggested in the thing. I don't know if you're still there. I'm going to make sure that Tyrion gets back because she had a question. I want to make sure I answer it when she's there. And I just lost connectivity and I just got connected again. Am I back on? Let me pull my YouTube channel up in the background. YouTube. Okay. So there's a delay. Okay. All right. Okay, Tyrion, when you get back, please let me know so I can answer that question. It's so weird to hear myself in the background. I was going to put my song on so you guys can see it. Oh, cool. Okay. So I think that, I don't know if I told you this before. I don't think I did. I'm going to plug this in. But, whoa. So the best time to try and talk to him would be when he's in a low, but it's like a very touchy situation. When you're in the depressed, so like there's the mania and you're all high, right? And then you have the trauma, like being angry and mean to everyone you love. And then you have the depression that hits you. And then, you just don't even want to be on the planet. So, he might be in that state, and in that state, for me, I don't know about him, but for me, every time I had to come back from an episode, and it always took at least 2 years, it always took about 2 years, to start feeling like myself again after I had a psychotic episode. And, for me in the depressive state, I didn't even have words in my head. Like I could see myself thinking, but I couldn't speak. It was hard to talk to people. I didn't want to call anyone. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I don't know if you've tried maybe writing a letter to him, but it's not anything personal. Like that's the number one thing with bipolar disorder. You cannot take anything personal at all. You have to be 100% confident in who you are and understand that you are perfect the way you are, and that anything this person says has nothing to do with how they feel about you. So as long as you know that, then any kind of bad reaction that you're having from the things that they say to you shouldn't matter. But it's impossible not to have trauma from somebody who has bipolar disorder. It's just, it affects the whole family. It's trauma. That's how it is. It's like alcoholism. Yeah, I mean, it is hurtful, but you just have to remember that when he's in that state, he's not really there. He's symptoms. Like he is his symptoms. Like there's nothing, you don't know what's going on in his brain. You don't know what he's thinking. Did I tell you to go see the Xavier Amador? Did I give you the link to that? There was a TED Talk by a guy named Xavier Amador, and he has a brother who's schizophrenia. He's a clinical psychologist, and he was one that was responsible for updating the definition of bipolar disorder and schizophrenia in the DSM-5 to include the unawareness of sickness, which is called anosognosia, and that is the biggest problem with bipolar disorder. Like I was just saying, I've been hypomanic, and I needed my husband to tell me, I can't admit it to myself. And I tell myself, well, I'm on medication, so it's fine, which I mean, is true. I started to feel like more amped up. So I started taking the Geodon the last couple of days. So I'm like, I'm on an antipsychotic. Like there's no way I'm going to go into psychosis. But it's still scary for my family, to try to want to talk to me or whatever, or to worry about. It's still scary for my family worrying about me. Um, Certain music can be an outlet for me to change my mood. I suffered from PTSD from childhood. Yeah, I have so much PTSD. My brother has anosognosia, but hearing you helps. Thank you. I'm so sorry that you're going through that. I guarantee you that things change. It will get better. With you in his life and the way that you care, it's obvious that he has the right support system, and that's what you need. That's the number one important thing, is you need the right support system. So if he has you as his support system, like, he's gonna be fine. I mean, it's not all on you, but like he has one of the number one tools. So Hashimoto's gastric hypothyroidism, and I am pre-diabetic. I'm sorry. I will send positive vibes to the universe of healing for you, and keep you in my thoughts, Lori. Okay, so Daniel was here, but he might have left, so I have to, like, yeah, Rescued will certainly pray for you, Lori. So you experience full-blown mania. What's that like? Hi, Mikey. Okay, you know what? Don't engage with any kind of trolls or nonsense, but sometimes it's funny. Sometimes it's funny. The what do they call that? Bathroom humor is hysterical. But yeah, what does mania feel like? Okay, so mania feels like a nightmare. Your brain starts moving really fast. You don't really understand. Well, at first, it depends on. I gotta turn this off because hearing myself in the background is annoying. Okay, so I will turn that back on. Okay, so mania is. Have you ever done drugs? If you've ever done drugs, then and you've ever done an upper, then that's what mania is like in the beginning. And then if you've ever drank a lot and the day after you drank, you just felt really horrible. Like, just, you don't know why. Your body feels tired. You're tired. You just feel entirely depressed. So it feels like going from that high on drugs type feeling to feeling sick, like your body is like completely destroyed and like your mind just doesn't have the energy and you just feel horrible. But the mania part, for someone like myself, I have mixed episodes. So that means that I can feel happy, sad, elated, angry, like all these emotions at the same time. And for me, The last couple days have just been incredibly uncomfortable. I have been happy because I've been working on this song and wanting to put it out. I've been really happy about that, and I have a right to be happy about that. I haven't written a song in so long, but I think part of the reason why I did experience the hypomania. Sorry, I'm going back to earlier. You were asking about mania, but I'm going to go back a little bit. I lost my thought. I'm looking at your art. Oh, you guys want to see it? It's so dope. Okay, I'll show you my favorite painting. We painted the place, and I hated my floors, so I did like gray around the things. But look at this is my favorite. I don't know if you've ever seen before. Check it out. That's me. It's not me, but that's my favorite. This was from some guy who was out on 2nd Street in Long Beach, right where everyone hangs out. And he had all these paintings on the street he was selling. And oh my gosh, I wish I would have bought another one. There was one from like the Corpse Bride. They were all different like characters. But this one I fell in love with. Hi, Renee. I actually am Michaela. Hi, Michaela. Go under my mom's AK Lori, but I'm a Michaela. Oh, nice to meet you, Michaela. Alice in Wonderland. Yes, Alice in Wonderland. Sorry, it was asking me to add a question. Okay, so back to Mania. What's Mania feel like? So mania is just like that. Like the things start moving really fast, but then it progresses. Like the mania part, the hypomania is like right before. And the uncomfortable is, most people feel elated. I don't have that as much. I have been feeling happy because I've been accomplishing something, but it's more like go, 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 go type of thing, and not being able to really relax or sit in one place. I was able to watch a movie for a little while last night. But like I said, Jeff has been really worried, and usually when he's worried, he's the one who's right. So, yeah, but mania is a nightmare. When it goes to psychosis is where the real issue happens. And that's when you start seeing things, hearing things, and believing things that are not real. Some people can smell things or taste things that are not real. That is both of that. Everything has happened to me. You can hear voices. All of that has happened to me. Every single thing that is possible when you have bipolar, I've experienced, which is kind of cool, actually. I mean, I'm getting to a point in my life where I've accepted where I'm at, and I'm happy with like everything that I've overcome. And I'm happy that even though they've been horrific, some of the experiences that I've had have given me so much knowledge and insight into the world and what's happening. And without the psychosis, I wouldn't have that same understanding. There's no way that there's things in my brain that I understand and think that I can't explain to other people because they won't get it. And it's because of the psychosis. But it's generally a horrific thing. It landed me in jail. It's landed me in about over 20 different psychiatric hospitals. Oh, sorry, not 20 different psychiatric hospitals, 20 times, probably about 5 different hospitals because I'm in a bigger city. But yeah, Renee, we were talking about that earlier. I don't notice when I'm in mania until, I don't notice the hypomania until Jeff says something. Or somebody else. Even one time, sometimes it's a friend. My friend Scarlett one time was like, whoa, you're manic. And I was like, no, I'm not. And then like later, Jeff was like, yeah, you are. And then I was like, okay, I am. But I haven't. So Daniel, hi Daniel, welcome. Daniel's new. Bipolar is a progressive brain disease that causes your mood to go from extreme highs to extreme lows. And it can also do things like make somebody lose touch with reality or want to, and it can also make people want to end their time on the planet. So I'm sorry to hear that, Michaela. Daniel. what did you say? So yeah, so extreme highs and extreme lows. And then I usually explain it, but there's a couple of different, I explain it on every life, but I'll do it again. There's a couple of different types of bipolar. Bipolar 1 with mania, and then bipolar 1 with psychosis, and then bipolar 2. And then apparently there's some new type of bipolar that people are claiming. I don't know. They're always coming up with, but the main parts are bipolar 1 and bipolar 2. People with bipolar 2 usually experience way more depression and thinking of leaving the planet themselves, taking themselves out. And people with bipolar 1 usually experience more mania, more psychotic. Most people with bipolar 2 don't experience psychotic symptoms. However, I've been told that is not the case for everyone. What was your wildest delusion? You know what? I don't mind talking about my delusions at all. Ooh, now it doesn't look like I have bags under my eyes. So I haven't been sleeping, so I look kind of terrible. I also tend to lose weight when I go into hypomania, and then so that's been happening. I think I've lost a couple of pounds over the last week. I've been processing ADHD, but somebody just asked me a question. Wasn't there something I was gonna say? Do I know anyone else with bipolar? I lost my thought process, which happens a lot. So I think I was answering something and I lost my thought process. Oh yeah, my wildest delusion. All of my delusions are rooted in trauma. None of them are, I guess maybe some are rooted in fantasy, but I don't think it's fantasy because it's terrifying. Like I have really terrifying delusions. But to think of the wildest one, God, there's just so many. Well, there's the one that I work for the CIA. That's always there. And that came about because in my second psychotic episode, I started hanging out with somebody who claimed to work in the CIA and claimed that he was recruited to work in the CIA. And then I met this other guy who claimed to have been recruited to the CIA, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, so I developed a delusion that I was part of that I had been recruited to the CIA. As if, right? So that was one of my delusions, but one of the most frightening delusions for me has to do with the trauma that I experienced when I was 15. I was statutory, and I ended up with a fetus, and I, at 5 weeks, ended that pregnancy. And it was very traumatic at the time. It will always be traumatic. I think of it differently now versus when I was very religious previously, and I'm no longer religious anymore. I have different ideas about the planet and life and everything else. So it doesn't bother me anymore, but it did play into one of my delusions. One, I believe that my little sister was my baby that I didn't have. And I believe that they just kept her safe instead of taking the fetus from me. They put it inside, you know how they have those big containers on light poles, the little 5G tubes. I believed that inside those giant tubes that they put up in the air, the 5G things, were all the babies that they had, that people had ended those pregnancies, and people were just holding them in there until they were ready to be put back with the right family. So that was a pretty wild delusion, and pretty, obviously it came from trauma. It came from severe trauma. I've had delusions that my parents were still married and that they were secretly married, and that my stepmom was actually in reality with her first husband, who she loved very much, and that my dad was actually in reality with my biological mother. That was a delusion. It was not reality. That was probably rooted in fantasy, but also trauma. So a lot of times the delusions will come from a place of trauma or fantasy, but they don't come from a place of truth. And by that I mean, like, I have trauma about a particular relationship with someone, right? And I'm in psychosis. So I think that they're trying to hurt me. And so I'm like incredibly verbally abusive to them. It doesn't mean anything because I was under the impression they were literally trying to end my life, and I had all these other thoughts shouting in my brain. It's like the way that I explain it to people is that when you're in mania or psychosis, it's like you have like 10,000 thoughts above your head, and you're like trying to grab like which ones, and they're all like bugging in, so you can't really like pick one, and it's a nightmare. So hopefully that explains it. As far as do I know anyone else with bipolar, yes I do. I actually met somebody at the hot tub yesterday who has bipolar, and he has bipolar, and he told me that because he was saying, well, you know, sometimes people want help and they don't want to, sometimes people need help and they don't want you to help them. And I'm like, okay, well, what do you say to people who have like schizophrenia or dementia or bipolar and they're not in reality? And he goes, well, bipolar, you don't really use touch with reality. And I'm like, yes, you do. And he said, no, you don't. I have bipolar. And I said, you absolutely lose touch with reality. You might have bipolar disorder type 2. I have bipolar disorder type 1. And I absolutely lose touch with reality. But the example is, here you have somebody who's been diagnosed with a life-threatening mental illness, and they don't even know about the symptoms of it. Because people with bipolar 2 can experience detachment from real. It's rare, but it can happen. And at least that's my understanding, and that's what I've learned from doing YouTube for so long. When you have hypermania, does your libido increase? So no, my husband wishes it did, but no. When I'm in mania and psychosis, yes, I experience hypersexuality in that state, in psychosis. Yeah, in psychosis, not in mania, or hypomania. But yeah. It's actually the opposite, because of all the trauma that I've had from being assaulted while I was manic. A lot of times I don't have desire to do anything, just from the trauma. Yay, Daniel, you're back. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry. I lost connection. Jeff, I think he was downloading something at the same time. But I'm going to make sure that I'm like close to the router or whatever. I'm going to find a solution to that problem, because I've had problems with the last 2 streams. And somebody that I was talking to that also does YouTube was having issues with their stream. So I'm answering the question right now. Do I know anybody with bipolar? I've met friends in the psychiatric hospital who I have stayed in touch with once we've left. And like I said, that guy that I met at the hot tub the other day, I know Halsey's bipolar, don't know her personally. I know Selena Gomez is bipolar, don't know her personally. I know Britney Spears is bipolar, don't know her personally. And Britney Spears is, God, so triggering. She is so unwell, and it's so scary, her situation from every angle. I don't know all about her family, all that, but I do know what bipolar disorder looks like, and I can see when she's in the thick of it, and it sucks. But in my life, just the people that I've met in psychiatric hospital, I guess, which you don't get to keep bipolar friends that you've met in the psychiatric. Oh shoot, sorry, Jess is my friend. She's bipolar. She has a YouTube channel. I don't know if she came. I don't think she was able to join. She's been hypomanic lately too. Only she gets way more irritability, I think, than I do. Yeah, crazy, right? Bye. She ignores her fans. Who? I don't think you're talking to me. Okay, what's the difference between hyper and hypo? Okay, so hyper, I think, refers to like hyperactivity. I don't know, but for hypersexuality, there's hyposexual, which means you don't want to have sex at all, and then there's hypersexuality, which means you're obsessed with anything sexual. Brittany, I feel bad for her, and people make fun of her. The thing that I find most triggering, hi Bronson, the thing that I find most triggering about Britney Spears and other celebrities that I see on the internet is the comments. People always say things like, oh, she needs to get off drugs, or she's they usually say drugs. They usually blame drugs. They usually blame the industry. But there are plenty of people who have been in entertainment and haven't gone bipolar. Like yes, there's trauma, but you know, it's rough. I block the grammar because they are ignorant and hateful. Yeah. So, well, I think people they don't know, and people don't understand drug abuse. People don't understand that drug abuse is a disease, and they don't understand that like there's a certain percentage of the population that if they try something, they're addicted once. I've done every single drug out there except for heroin, and I've never been addicted. Caffeine, yes. Caffeine, I'm completely addicted to. Like, it is the worst drug possible because it's legal, and I'm completely addicted to it. I've tried to quit several times and it didn't last very long. So I'm going to try again. But I never got addicted. As soon as the person that brought that in my life was gone, I didn't go out and seek it out unless I was in psychosis. When I was in psychosis, I used substances. Most people, when they're in psychosis, and decision making is impaired. And a lot of us with bipolar disorder or schizophrenia have self-medicated with drugs or alcohol in the past. And actually, here's a fun fact. Half of the people with schizophrenia have drug and alcohol issues. Half. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's how painful that illness is, that people go and look for the self-medication like that. Would you make a video about having bipolar and being in a relationship and what you all found has helped? My relationship took a hit during my psychosis. Hi, Sophie. So I think the best thing to do when you are in a relationship, well, what works for me, right, is that I have to have a complete open line of communication with my husband at all time. And I have to find a way to not get upset when he says you're having symptoms. I have to understand that he's not just holding my illness against me. He loves me and wants to help me. I think that there's things that you can say, like, hey, what do you need from me? Like, is there anything that I might have done that you need to talk to me about that I probably don't remember? Because there are things that we do in psychosis that we don't remember. That might work. One of the most helpful and relieving things that anyone has ever said to me in regards to my bipolar. So if you're someone with bipolar, you need to hear this. She said I was complaining about my psychotic symptoms and saying this person doesn't forgive me. And my counselor said, well, that's not fair. You were in psychosis. That's not your fault. And it was like, whoa, it wasn't my fault. Like, all these years of blaming myself. And, you know, and it took me going to group counseling. It took me months at group counseling in order to learn this information and to get that support. So we have to do a lot of work to stay healthy. But relationships are always going to be challenging. I think the most important thing is communication and asking the other person the questions. What do you need from me? What can I do to make you feel more comfortable with my bipolar disorder? Like, for me, the last time my husband got really worried, I said, okay, well, what do you want me to do? And he said, well, I would like you to go back to group. So I went back to group. I didn't go back for very long, but I went back. So asking him what he needs and then sharing with him my experiences, my symptoms, and my situation is not the same for everybody. My husband's a librarian. He reads. When he doesn't understand something, the first thing he does and goes and finds a book about it. When his mom passed away, the first thing he did was read a bunch of grief books. So he learned about bipolar disorder immediately and learned what I was going through. And so he knows how to deal with a lot of the stuff that I'm experiencing. He's also incredibly patient. But he understands, like, when I'm experiencing a symptom, and not to become angry with me for that. I'm the one that typically gets angry because of the PTSD, because of my guilt about how much I hurt him, and because of my embarrassment. Even to this day, I'm still embarrassed of my bipolar symptoms forever. Everybody loves this lipstick. I love this lipstick. Thank you. I have to go. Please, P.S. I subscribed. And you're so welcome, Michaela. Thank you for joining the chat. Bye, Daniel. Thank you so much for joining. He probably already left. So I will make a video about a relationship for you, Sophie. I will make a video for that. I've been really focused on my music lately. That's really what I'm trying to focus on. I released the video today. For you guys that are still there, because I do have some time to still stay on the live, I'm gonna play my song in the background, so it's playing. And then if you guys are interested and you haven't seen the video yet, you can go watch the video. Which I released at 2 o'clock. Oh, I'll pull it up. That's what I'll do. GH, let's see. Where did I go? Here. You know what? I don't even want to look because it's gonna. I'll just play it here. Oh no, not this one. Hold on. This one. Okay. I don't know if you guys can hear it in the background. It's not gonna be super loud. But I'm gonna play it. Don't make him. I work hard. I deserve better. So I'm reading. Hi, Gabrielle. It's so nice of you to join the chat. We're talking about bipolar disorder. God is also playing my song that I just wrote. I was playing in the background, but yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for sharing your beliefs and your compassion and care and everything. Personally, that's not a belief system that I adhere to or follow. I believe in love and caring and compassion for all life. And that's not something that I experience religion or affiliated people in religion and stuff. That's not something I see them doing. For example, I don't take part in taking life when I don't have to. So, and I find that a lot of Christians do. So it's not something that I want to go towards. It's something that I used to be involved in, religion and, you know, prayers and all that. And I totally respect anyone, because at the time it did something for me in my life. And at the time, and I don't, you know, hey, maybe I'm wrong. I can be wrong, but I don't believe that. So, but I do appreciate you leaving your comment. But yeah, let's see. Okay, so I'm getting a lot of spam and not anybody that's really. So if anybody's there that wants to talk about bipolar, please let me know. Otherwise, if it's going to be just like spamming, because Daniel had to go and he was modding. And I don't mind modding myself, I'm just saying. Do most people act out when manic with hypersexuality? My brother becomes an absolute womanizer. Yes. Yes. I don't know about most people, but people do. Yeah. It's not, it's because it doesn't have any, because the hypersexuality attached to bipolar mania is it's not about a human being. It's about a brain thing, like a biological need in your brain. It doesn't have anything to do with a person or feelings or anything like that. When you're in mania or psychosis, you can't see anyone else's feelings. You can't see any. You can see their feelings, but your feelings are so intense and you're so overwhelmed and you're so scared. It is like the most terrifying place in the world to be in mania or psychosis. You're so scared that you just can't handle anything. Be right back. I gotta feed Harley. She's staring me down. Who's Harley? One of our neighbors has a dog named Harley. I love that name. That's so cute. Harley. Wait, did you already tell me you have a dog named Harley? All right, well, I'm gonna wait since you guys are still here. So anyways, my tortoiseshell. Oh yeah, you saw Kitty, the tortie I have. It sucks. You guys have been uploading all these cute animal videos to YouTube, which I love doing, but now YouTube is really confused and won't show any of my bipolar videos to anyone, and it's only showing my animal videos, and it's like, come on, dude. I wish I could just put everything on the same channel, but it's like they want you to make like multiple channels, and it's such a pain. Hi, Pink Statue. So we were talking about bipolar disorder. My name's Steph. If you are new here, you are welcome to subscribe to my channel if that's something you want to learn about. I'm also a musician. I sing and write piano and I create beats too. And I am a horrible guitar player. Not really a guitar player, like I can play chords. What's my location? I'm in California, in the US. In the United States of, not sure what it is anymore, but yeah, that's where I'm at. Okay, well, let me know if you guys have any questions about bipolar disorder, or let me know if any of you guys checked out my video that I released. I released a video at 2 o'clock, the same time I went live, so I'm hoping somebody watched it. I've never been to New York. That's like on my bucket list to go there. I love the way it looks on TV. You know what I love about New York? I love that New Yorkers love New York. I love that whenever I met somebody in San Diego, whenever they were from New York, I would always say, well, what's your favorite thing about New York? They would always say the seasons, or that would be what they would miss. Because we don't really have seasons in California. I mean, it gets cold and it rains sometimes, but where I live, it's pretty much between 70 and 74 every day. Isn't that awesome? It's a Gresh. I love that guitar. My other one was way cute. It was Ibanez and it was like silver, but summer, I used to have a big giant sound booth back here. Like that's why there's kind of an echo in here. I used to have a big giant sound booth that my husband and his brother built me, but we got new floors and I had to tear it down. So 2026 is a whole new year for me. A whole lot of different stuff is happening. We're going on vacation in a couple of weeks. So that's a little bit, I mean, I'm not worried, but my husband's worried because typically when I go on vacation, I tend to get a little hypomanic because I'm so excited about the things that I'm doing. And when I'm excited, it's harder for me to sleep. And if you have bipolar disorder and you are not getting as much sleep as you need, more than a couple of nights in a row, you are most definitely going to go into hypomania. At least I have anyways. So, but yeah, are any of you guys Kanye West fans? If you are, put a thing down there. Cause I cause I made a video on him once and I don't know if I should make it public again. I had it up because I was really frustrated when he was going through all his nonsense and hurting all those people, saying all that anti-Semitic stuff. I was really upset because not only at what he was doing, but I was upset because it was so clearly bipolar disorder symptoms and everybody just kept exploiting him and interviewing him and doing all this dumb stuff. And so I made a video about it trying to illustrate, look, he's bipolar. This is what it looks like. And, but then, you know, he started selling like Nazi shirts and I was like, this needs to go unlisted. So I unlisted it, but it still is. Oh, hey, got a gift. Thank you so much. Yay. That's exactly what I needed. Hi, Maverick. Everyone needs in a heart. Oh, yay! You make me feel so cared for. That's awesome. Thank you. Yay! Maverick is hooking me up with jewels. That is so awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I don't know if you have been subscribed to the channel for a while or if you're new, but I have bipolar disorder. That's what I've been talking about. I lived with it my whole life, didn't get diagnosed until 2017. Started a blog in 2020 every day for 5 minutes for about 6 months, and then I stopped, and then I kind of did videos here and there, and my channel isn't very consistent. You're never gonna go more than a couple of months of not seeing me, but and most of the time I'm here, you know, but it's not incredibly it's not like I lost my thought again. It's really crazy. I don't know if that's the brain fog that they're talking about, but hi, Starboy the Night. But I lost my thought. Sometimes that happens. ADHD. I also have ADHD, which is, you know what, I don't know if it's common for a lot of people with bipolar disorder to also be diagnosed with ADHD. I know that a lot of people with bipolar disorder also have PTSD. Like, it's impossible not to have PTSD if you have bipolar 1, but, because in order to be diagnosed with bipolar 1, you have to have at least one manic episode, and that's traumatic. That's extremely traumatic, so it causes PTSD. They don't ever really go away. Yesterday, I was thinking the other day, because I've been having a lot of memories from when I was in Mania lately, and I was thinking the other day how I'm never going to be able to laugh at least I don't think I'll ever be able to laugh at things that I did in Mania. Although, I mean, yeah, there's so much trauma. It's hard to faking to get an attention. Hi, F Shams. I don't know if you're who you're talking about, but I don't know if you're accusing me of faking bipolar, but I assure you that's not something I would ever fake. I have a lot of ADHD and anxiety. My parents divorced, and my best friend is, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Charlie, that's like way more than the person can handle. I think divorce is definitely one of the most traumatic things I went through in my entire life. My parents' divorce. It set my life on a completely different course than it would have been had they, and maybe it would have gone bad had they stayed together, who knows, but it definitely set me on a bad decision course, because I was like, my parents are divorced, what does it matter, I can do whatever the hell I want. That was my thinking. But it was trauma. It's traumatic. It's traumatic growing up in a home with two parents that are fighting all the time also, though. But I'm so sorry about your friend. I hope that they are not suffering too much. Bogan Manfrotto. Remember when our brother thought his ADD meant he had a definite disorder. A definite disorder. That's funny. Hey, I have a question. What's up, Chicken and Waffles? What's your question? Hi, Rachel. Oh, my voice just like totally cracked. I have an answer as soon as you give me the question. Gosh, it was so nice of you to give me all those gifts, Maverick. You have no idea how much I appreciate that. I spend so much time doing YouTube, and I get like 60% of a penny for each jewel, which is nothing, and YouTube doesn't pay very much at all, like pennies, you know, unless you're like a huge subscriber, and it takes like tons of time. So when somebody gives me even like any kind of jewel or anything, like, it's amazing, and you give me 61 jewels, that's a lot. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Current administration She supports current administration policies on board. Oh, hell no, I do not support it. If you're talking about me, I don't support anything that has to do with the current administration. Nothing they do. I mean, I don't want to say nothing because not everything they do are all bad, but the current administration I have zero respect for and completely disagree with everything that's happening in the United States and all the trauma and pain that the United States government is causing on the rest of the world. And like these people were saying in shorts, I'm not American, I'm Californian. I'm not from America, I'm from California. So let me see. Bro, you can't have one dog. You guys are awesome. Wait, so there was a question. Never mind, leave channel. Okay, what is bipolar symptoms? So bipolar symptoms can be irritability, racing thoughts, careless or reckless behavior like gambling, over shopping, paranoia. Not a lot of people hear voices with bipolar disorder. I do. I've only heard like voices, like actual real voices, like a couple of times. But what happens to me is that it's not necessary. I'm hearing real voices. I'm hearing people talk, but I don't know if I'm hearing the exact words coming out of their mouth because everything that they're saying is answering a thought in my brain. So whatever I'm thinking, they're answering it. And though there's a word for that kind of voices. There was a guy who had schizophrenia that was in my group therapy that told me that that's a specific type of voices that you hear. But that's what happens to me, and it's terrifying. It's terrifying. Everybody thinks they want to be famous, right? But when you're bipolar disorder and you have experienced mania and you've experienced delusions of grandeur and you have experienced the Truman syndrome, which is what most of us experience in psychosis, yeah, it's speechless. Hope for the best for you. Thank you, Trick. Give me the wrong dose of ADHD medicine. I was freaking out all day at school and my teachers were like, okay, you need... Oh, I'm sorry. Charlie, sorry, Charlie, I was reading Charlie. He was talking about ADHD and a panic attack. I accidentally took the wrong dose of medicine. Okay, so this happened to, oh yeah, and I do know Joe's, my friend Joe's has bipolar. Oh my God. If she sees this, I'm gonna feel so bad. Joe's has bipolar, and she recently found out that she was supposed to taking a medication that she thought was a PRN, which was like a prescription as needed. And so apparently she was feeling bad. And so she took one of these PRNs and it made her really sick. And so she called her doctor and doctor's like, you should have been taking that the whole time. And so, yeah, it's totally normal for people with bipolar disorder to mess up their medication, either forget taking or take too much. Most people, there was a meme one time I saw on Reddit, bipolar. Reddit's a really great place for bipolar. I also joined a bipolar Facebook group that I think it's called Understanding Bipolar, because I went back on Facebook. But yeah, so that was helpful. Don't be sorry, that was hilarious. My friends used to make fun of me because of I don't know, it's the ADHD. My brain has always done this. It's worse now that I'm older and I have all this brain damage from all the psychotic episodes, which happens. The longer you're in mania, the longer you're in depression, the more gray matter you lose in your brain. So it happens way more often where I'm talking and like mid-sentence, it'll just go blank and I won't even know what the hell I'm talking about, where I finished my thought. But it used to happen, and at work, it used to happen, and one of my friends started laughing at me one day and I'm like, what? Why are you laughing at me? And she's like, Steph, you were talking about that like 2 minutes ago. You walked away and then you came back right talking about it like you never left. And that was embarrassing. Stuff like that is embarrassing and it sucks, but whatever. That I can kind of laugh at and accept because that's just who I am. So I'm trying, sorry, I have to go back here because I'm looking, because somebody said, Oh yeah, it was you. It was you, Charlie, that said that. So, because of what you're going through, I hope that there's something extra that you're doing, like deciding to do something that you normally like, and so that you just know that you still enjoy doing that during this time, because it's important with all the trauma of like the divorce and losing your friend. Like, it's really important that maybe you do some extra things if you have a mental illness, even if you don't have a mental illness and you're here to learn about someone else. Well, no, you do. You said you have ADHD and stuff. So I think maybe journaling before you go to sleep at night. I saw a short on Instagram that really helped me. This lady was saying you have to do 3 things before you go to bed at night. First thing is you have to think of a thing that you thought at one point in time you wouldn't be able to handle, but you were able to handle today. So that's one. There's 3 things she says. The second thing is she says, I should pull up the short. I can't remember the second thing. I'll remember it though later. I'll tell you guys about it later. But yeah, doing extra things like calling your doctor and saying, hey, I have this tragedy going on. My friend's really sick. They're passing away. I might need to adjust my medicine. And then your doctor might say preventatively, let's up your dose by a milligram or 2 milligrams or 100 milligrams. And yeah, so really pay attention to where you're at, because if you're going through that much trauma and tragedy, you're going to need to really be on top of your mental health, because if you're not, then you could start experiencing symptoms. But if it's just a wrong dose of medicine on this day, then you should be fine, right? You should come back around. Does anybody have any other questions? Because I do have to log off, because I have to take Sebastian, or oh my God, Sebastian's my dog that passed. Sebastian passed away in the end of June. I have to take Rocco and Amy to the park. I've been neglecting them for the last several days working on my music. So please check out my video and subscribe if you guys want to learn more about bipolar disorder. But just please check out my music video that I just released. You can buy my song in a week on Spotify, iTunes, Apple, all the places you can buy it. But if you check out the video, please make sure to watch it all the way through and thumbs up and share with everyone. It has a very important political message that shouldn't be looked at as political, but looked at as right now we're in a position where the wealth in our country, in the United States, is obscene, and it is it's dangerous how much money the top 10% of the United States wealth have, and how that's going to affect the rest of us. But anyway, yes, you are so welcome, Charlie. Thank you so much for joining the chat. I will be doing more lives, probably unannounced, and I will get better about announcing them and putting videos so more people come to the chat. But I actually kind of like it smaller when we can all talk, because then you guys get to then we can actually talk about stuff. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for joining. If you're watching this back, I appreciate you for taking the time to watch this back. Love you guys. Bye.